go for on iG.Vitality. So I would say it's probably going to be a little easier for Supernova to be able to go into the later stages of this game, but it's all really around that Darkseer pick, right? If he's able to get his farm, then Terrorblade's life becomes so much more challenging.
See you later, nerds.
What do iG.Vitality need to do then to shut off the Darkseer?
I mean, it's not the easiest lane that he has to play with, right? Like, it's a Darkseer with a Techies. Who is actually using the Ion Shell in that lane? It's going to need to be the Darkseer. So I think you just need to try and outplay them, basically. Like, he's got a lot of stats built up for himself. The +6 to all stats off of the Magic Wand and 3 Iron Branches, but no regen. So that means that if he could look to get a kill pretty early on before he ferries out some tangos and the like to himself, then, you know, you start to put this lane in the bin a little bit. Yes, he's going to have one of the best position for laners in the game, in the Techies, to be able to help him out, but it's not like you're really lacking in that kill threat with a Bat Rider and a Spirit Breaker. Of course, even just the slows coming through from a TB and the silencer feel pretty good too.
30 seconds to battle.
Okay, I was just thinking of, like, do you try and play the Abaddon with the Darkseer then potentially? But I think, like, there's a lot of value with him in both
He's got
lanes,
to be
right?
against the bat lane, yeah.
So, because what I've seen from Batrider, it's like a 0-1-2 build early on, and then you go sticky at 4. Do you feel like there's still as much value with him being there compared to top? Because actually, Yukio, more than likely going to be our first blood. 5 heroes from Supernova swarming inside iG.Vitality's jungle, and with a slight from Han,
Well,
he's
he's
able
got
to
his
secure
bottles.
it. What do you know?
So
Yeah,
this lane is
cool.
so much more viable now.
So cool. Like pretty much the identical thing that we saw yesterday. I guess one thing is that he completely missed out on the body blocks, but it will go back all the way under his tower.
He won't miss any last hits, it's fine. They also committed 2 Observer Wards in pretty much the exact same spot on iG.Vitality, really looking to try and pick up that first blood, realizing that, you know what, Nabadan, Magnus, Darkseer, they're not all that effective at level 1, and they had some pretty decent kill threat, but it was actually them that got caught with their pants down. You know, the wards are a little bit more spread out here by Supernova, both to cover that mid lane as well as that bounty rune, and it ends up paying off for them. I don't know what's going on here on this bottom lane between Hara and Marblu, because I mean, you're thinking the same thing as me, right? Like, from all intents and purposes, with what Marblu started with, I'm like, okay, he's playing the support. You know, Hara a little bit more into just the overall stats, leaning into the universal hero aspect with the bracer for both damage and sustainability. But now it looks like Marblu's taking a bit more of the stats and is building into some of that physical damage reduction. You know, again, we mentioned that it's very important to recognize that you are against a lot of physical, you know, coming from the Magnus, the Ember Spirit, even with the threat of the Abaddon potentially being a core. Not going to be the case, but still, Crimson Guard going to be pretty good this game, I would imagine.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the bracer getting worked on from Hara, I really wasn't sure who was the call.
Yeah.
But it looks like SP's last hitting, so that does answer our question. And how's top going? Like you said, really important for Chen to be off to a good time on the Darkseer. You know, it's not that melee pairing in the lane that we see very often with this hero, just to be able to get a lot of value out of the Shellers. Meanwhile, she's a blast off defensively, so a lot of slows reapplying with the Arcane Curse. They should be able to continue to chase him down. Never mind. Sheep able to get out. That's pretty huge. Usually first meta is often a kill, so just able to survive on a slither of health.
I mean, that's one of the other reasons why the Techies is so busted, right? You've got this escape mechanism that also just doubles up as damage. Able to give himself over that healing salve and continue to harass in onto Ponyo. So the fact that they didn't connect onto that kill as well, we were talking about, you know, how do these position 5s look to trade against the Techies? It's why the Venomancer wouldn't have been a good pick, just because he can outrange you and apply that Dispel. But yeah, Ponyo as well, like, Arcade Curse Last Word, it's great to be able to pick up a kills with all the slow that you can get, but you can't just effectively trade in the lane against sheep. It's more about being able to find the kill as opposed to consistent harass.
Nemo, we're also seeing Butterfly Effect start to really come out on top in this mid lane.
To be
26, expected. Yeah, to be expected. 26 compared to the 12 and 3, so... Do see Han, I mean, he's trying to do whatever he can, spamming Slight to be able to CS. So it's a very low mana cost, and hopefully his supports help him out as the game goes on. Not really going to be required with the water rune, but you're potentially a sacrificial death in the lane to refill the bottle.
I have to imagine, though, like, do any of them really want to die? Like, it feels like these side lanes should go fairly okay for them, you know, in a bad, and I guess maybe if you're just spamming out that Aphotic Shield up against the Bat Rider, but speaking of that water rune.
Han's in a lot of trouble. Hara wants Raider to over. Chola does a pretty good job as well, actually. Abaddon looking to put some emphasis on helping out the Ember. Of course, that Aphotic Shield's going to be very handy to keep him alive.
It's just more space for the Magnus, though, right? I'm a little surprised at how little he's getting out of this lane. Marblu is just outlasting him right now. 24 and 6 to the 19 and 4 that the Mag has to be able to play around with. And, you know, when you're up against a melee hero, especially one that doesn't have amazing armor to be able to start off with, he hasn't even started building into things like the phase boots just yet on Marblu. I would imagine that the Empower is just going to give you a little bit better trading than what an SB is able to do, but he's just missing some pretty easy last hits. Ukio has to be a bit careful up here. Getting spammed with sticky bombs. Again, Techie's just such an annoying hero to have to play around. When they're actually looking to go for a kill, maybe. Try to find a TV. Won't be on point, though.
We are starting to see this lane get a little bit more difficult, though, for Ukio to be able to play. Very fine line. Maybe with meta up, they could potentially posture for a kill, but there's always the potential for Sheep to jump in. Damage is really going to ramp up at that level 3 as well.
I like that he didn't just commit the meta there. You know, you're realizing that, you know what, Darkseer is hit up onto level 4, he might have that surge available. He did. Would have been a wasted meta usage. So at least now he has it to be able to more continuously deal with this siege creep wave. That's kind of what the Techies was going for with that pull previously. You know, he had the Ion Shell applied onto him, as Chen actually might be the one in trouble, although just has enough to be able to get that Ion Shell off. Yeah, he's a fast boy.
A very fast boy. All the lanes though seem to be going pretty well for iG.Vitality in regards to the last hits. They will even get the power rune as well for Butterfly Effect, so a regen for the Queen of Pain to do whatever she likes with. Hopefully she gets it.
You would think so. I mean, well, okay. Enjoy your rune. She's like, man, I TP'd back here to give you a refill. He's like, you know what? I appreciate it. Not needed.
That's a pretty big rune for the Ember.
Yeah,
I don't think you're really going to be rotating.
This creep wave. We'll give in it. I mean, with the Techies rotating back towards top, there's not really any sort of kill threat for Butterfly Effect. He's low-ish on mana, I suppose, but yeah, just looking to make some rotations around the map, it seems. Maybe just deal with this siege creep first, deal with the next creep wave, and then look to connect through onto one of these other lanes. You've, of course, got the Remnant still in that mid lane to be able to play around with.
Oh, Sheep's going to be too late. Oh, no. Yoink.
Matter of seconds. Have you had a look at these levels on these supports?
Yeah, I just saw.
5, Sheep is 2.
I just saw. How is he 5?
Yoinking XP? I don't know. He stole that rune, but really this is just about making sure Chen had the good game, right? So it makes sense why Techies has relatively low...
Man, there's a lot of Nova heroes here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Nova heroes. Where'd they all come from? Ukio. It's like, boys, where are our numbers? Haru's going to try and help out, but that's where the Abaddon's able to come into play. Bye-bye any sticky charges and any turnaround potential is now Han. With the Iron Shell pumped on top of him, it's going to be an easy triple kill for the Ember. We don't want to look at the net worth. He is almost 1,000 ahead of Butterfly Effect. Got 730 gold off that fight. Man, dude.
All right, is he going to get a DD rune on this top side? Is he going to get a DD rune up here?
All right, it's okay. It's okay. But it's another game where the mid laner versus the Queen of Pain gets first blood and instantly starts with bottle.
Yep. Starts with bottle and gets a power rune that he probably shouldn't. I mean, that was Butterfly Effect's fault, to be fair. You know, there was a bit of a wave underneath his tower, but you could afford to, you know, have a bit of a squiz over when you've got this lane in such an advantageous matchup as it should be.
And they've really gotten out of, I feel like, the dangerous stage here for the Darkseer, you'd say. He's level 6, Vanguard completed. These heroes can be very weak in the early levels, but... Oh, Sonic Wave. Not gonna be enough. Butterfly Effect will still jump over the top as Butterfly Effect just put himself in his own grave. Nice disengage from Han, and now with the Queen of Pain going down, they might go for Ponyo as well. She gonna brute force up the high ground. Still a difficult position for them to take a fight, and it's now Marblu as well.
Oh, nice dodge.
A nice dodge with a slipe, but still the silence is there, so there's gonna be no reset. I mean, the Remnants, they were still on cooldown regardless, but a bit of a streak will go over to Marblu. 5 times killing streak, so he's going to claim second in net worth now.
It's a big one for him. I mean, he was already having such a good time against the Magnus in the lane, but again, this is the risk playing against a Mag. If you make any sort of rotations away from him, he's just going to use that max down in power. He's going to continue to farm up like an absolute beast, and I'm really not expecting that to stop anytime soon. Like, it's just like, what sort of value are you going to be able to get out of a lot of these rotations on iG.Vitality, right? We've mentioned you could commit with the Global and the Lasso, and they're going to be able to do that combination fairly soon. Ponyo is about 1 creep away from being able to do it. It looks like that is going to be the general strategy. Maybe just look to soak up a tiny bit of lane experience to be able to enable that to happen, but Hara just has the Tranquil Boots delivered, so that extra movement speed that he might need to be able to find this pick-off. Look at top.
Yeah. Chen. Gonna try and drop the wall, but really to no avail. Just proving to be a bit more of a nuisance than anything, so look at the Darkseer kill. Tower does still go down. It's a lot of gold that Yukio was requiring. I think before that he was behind the mag, so now he's going to be able to continue to free farm at this side of the map, and didn't even need the global silence as well, so they still have this one available.
So I really love this coming out of Han. He's going straight into that Desolator after the Orb of Corrosion. You know, we know how effective an Ember Spirit is just with Magic 1 phase boots Orb of Corrosion, but most of the time we see Maelstrom or BKB come after that. He doesn't need the Maelstrom. He's got a Magnus to be able to both enable his farm as well as his effectiveness in these team fights. So something like a Desolator is just going to absolutely slice through a lot of these iG.Vitality heroes. And again, if you've got a Magnus who's looking to connect through at a similar sort of time to you picking up the Desolator, whether it's through Harpoon or Blink Dagger, then it means that you are going to be actually able to convert these pickoffs. You can see he's already completed the Echo Saber.
Often we see the Ember is a really nice response to the Terrorblade because of the Maelstrom with the magic damage and being able to deal with the illusions. Do you feel like because they have a Darkseer this game, that's like another reason why he doesn't have to go that route?
I think so, and I think they just realize how important these supports are going to be, right? The Global Silence is a really effective tool against an Abaddon, against a Darkseer. Even the techies, right? They can do absolutely nothing if they're Global Silence, so you just got to make sure you take them out as quickly as possible. As a bit of a charge down bottom, Chola, he's getting pigged out, and well, he's got the the borrowed time to be able to play around with. Seems like maybe the team's going to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, they're coming. Chen's here. That's the vital person to be able to springboard a fight off, but they won't be able to catch it. And well, Marblu is still a core. Vacuum skewers a little bit awkward, but it looks like the chain's going to be able to set up. Even pump faking the RP just in case if it's required. But it is 5 heroes that's needed down bot to get the kill. Meanwhile, we do have Yukio really catching up on the Terrorblade. He's now put himself up in second position.
He's catching up for sure, but the thing is, like, it's a really valuable kill, right? That takes away so much more of their roaming ganking potential. Yeah, Spirit Breaker, Batrider, Silencer, Taylor's Oldest Time, and they protect their tier 1 tower. They haven't lost a single tower yet on Supernova, and of course, with a Magnus, position 1 especially, you want to just maintain as much of that space to be able to farm. We can see he's just farming right underneath this bottom tier 1 tower still. This is probably not an area that you should have freedom to be able to still get a lot of that little bit of extra farm, so he should continue to scale probably faster than this TB does. And Chola,
what are we hoping is
once again coming back to the lane, just saying, well, I'm probably going to get charged again, but at least I got borrowed time up in 5 seconds. Hopefully
and at least
puts that chainmail in.
he's just being an issue with defending, them taking the tower, right? Like, that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses. Honestly, both sides kind of have a lack of taking towers. I mean, Terrorblade can definitely get involved early if you take a fight around him with meta, but even Radiant as well. Top lane, Chen trying to solo kill Ukyo, but he's got the Sunder, and now Chen's maybe kicking himself a little bit. Bit ambitious with that attempt, and Hara and Ponyo once again playing together.
Looks like Ember did switch things up, so maybe with Chen having a little bit of a rougher time, he's actually got the Maelstrom coming out to him on the courier now. Hopefully it's not scouted out by any sort of iG.Vitality vision, because that will allow them to be able to make that retreat. They'll at least get the silencer off the back of this, and they'll see the Maelstrom revealed as well. So I'm just wondering, like, how this is going to change how iG.Vitality look to play, considering they see the Maelstrom picked up on this. Are they saying, you know what, we're going to have a little bit more space to be able to pick up our farm, let's just go ultra greed. SB has still had a pretty good start to this game, so let's try and get him into... he's basically got an Octarine completed already. Close to it.
Damn, okay. Well, what's it got queued up after? Octarine...
Shadowblade, BKB, Ags, probably.
Okay. So, Marblu's having a very good time, and it's continuing to be a bit more of the...
courier to help him charge into neutral camps as well. Just max efficiency, hover him over the creep camp.
So those are the minor things that can, separate you from some of the players just a tier below. So very much like that, but it seems like now we're going to get a bit more of a rotation out of Nova. I mean, they've been farming across the map, but with the Maelstrom, with the Harpoon completed, they feel strong enough to be able to group up and take the tier 1. But do we go back to farming now? Because we haven't seen a lot of plays so far this game.
I mean, if I'm them, I probably still feel like a Blink Dagger on the Magnus would provide them a ton of utility, right? Like, he's going into the Manta style next, and of course, you're a position 1, you want to scale, but if you want to do that, then it's probably not the best choice to be able to go into this maxed out skewer, right? We see Magnus has put points into the all attributes and just the 1 value point into the skewer. So I feel like if you're wanting to join with the rest of the team, a Blink Dagger is going to be such a more effective tool at being able to find that quick pick-off, because, if you're grouped up with an Abaddon, just the 1 point in the Curse of Avernus, he's getting close to a Solar Crest, all the right-click damage coming through from the Empower, you'll be able to take some towers just if you take a successful team fight.
So, with that being said, I've also been very impressed with how Magnus has just continued to spam Skewer to actually get across the map. So maybe with maxing it out, it actually kind of helps with your farming speed. Maybe it's adds up over time with not having all the stats.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not really seeing him spam it out too much here, as looking to try and find a quick pick-off, and Marblu just gets a little bit of luck coming through.
Yep. Oh, look at the combo. Ember just gets blown up. All the ultimates committed onto Han. Can Nova now take the fight, 4v5, but of course, still got abilities for them to work with.
Yeah, they have absolutely nothing on iG.Vitality to be able to play around with. So I wonder if this just means that Supernova's like, all right, let's fix the lanes. You can see here Marblu, he's going for a really deep dive just to keep the lane pressured at bottom, just so that any sort of rotation is going to be super obvious for them. You don't have Global, you don't have Lasso, you don't have Sonic Wave. The Strike is coming up fairly shortly, but this is the sort of thing that they need to be playing around. And you can already see Chola, he realizes that he is going to be having a lot of difficulty going into this global silence. He's got the Lotus Orb queued up for himself already. So not got that Guardian Greaves that I was considering. That's going to be Chen picking it up for himself, but makes a lot of sense for the ABBA to get this Lotus. It's just a matter of, like, are you going to be able to take the fights successfully? Are you going to be able to take the tower successfully? And that's really why I want this this Magnus. Speaking of Mag,
top lane. Yeah, tries to go for the RP with Sheep nearby, the stun lock. It's going to be enough. There was nothing he was able to do to protect him. Of course, they knew the global wasn't there as well to maybe disrupt some spells. Meanwhile, Han, they're even going to run into the Bat Rider as well inside their own jungle. So 2 kills close towards a tower. They're going to be able to get a decent amount of damage now into this.
Yeah, they have the glyph still to be able to play around with, but with even just the Medallion of Courage, you could probably just pop that onto the Magnus, let him tank up this tower a little bit more easily. They have not glyphed this at all, and that's a really poor timing of it as well, because it's not going to be able to protect, to get rid of this creep wave. So you're still unable to push in, you still know that the global silence isn't going to be up for another 20 or so second, so you might be able to make the jump with a Batrider, but as long as the Abaddon's in a really good position, you're going to be able to cancel it out. So to me, that's a bit of a mistake from iG.Vitality, right? They should realize that, yes, it's important to keep the lanes pushed out, but any sort of death that you're finding just with a quick pick-off means that you open up the map to be taken away by Supernova. And they just kind of handed it to them on a silver platter right there, not even needing the Blink Dagger on the Magnus. And there's one of those big global silence responses as well in the Guardian Greaves. Level 2 Wall of Replica as well for Chen.
I wonder when he's going to consider the Scepter, because we saw yesterday in, was it our Western Europe series? I don't remember. Yep. Maybe C, where it was a Vanguard Interceptor for the Darkseid. And I can't even... Who was he? What was the carry on the enemy team? Do you remember?
I think it might have been TB. He was against a Quad. I remember that for sure. And they were just lacking in a little bit of lockdown as well. So they just wanted to be able to get into that earlier Scepter to be able to provide that normal punch. Doing his best Saitama cosplay.
I was versus CK. CK Quad. So yeah, I really wonder when Chen's going to want to try and pick up the Scepter. But we will see. Winter has that second life now to play with on the Magnus. Very close to having the Manta style completed as well.
Look at Hara. He's just doing his best to be able to try and cut these lanes as much as he can, hoping that he's not going to be able to get into range of the Harpoon. Oh, nice blink away. He's making a lot of space here. And this is why the Batrider is just seen as one of those busted position 4s right now, because you are able to keep up in farm. You still provide a ton of utility. You're not gimping yourself with the lane matchup as well. You know, you can even bait out some responses like the Abaddon, for example, to the Batrider and then just flex it to a 4. So I'd say Hara's been playing a pretty good game so far. Also, just with the techies, it's such a value Yules game, both for the global and up against a core Spirit Breaker, just to be able to get rid of that bulldoze, such an effective tool.
Like to see Nova start to play around this bottom side of the map. You've got Tormentor up. You're going to have the Wisdom Room up in 21 minutes as well. There's still towers for you to take, so the successful team fight could be huge for them. Chola not able to steal away the rune. Someone help him. Oh, meanwhile, Winter looking for the double RP. Sheep's going to be able to commit with a global silence. It'll enable Butterfly Effect to escape. Marbleu still wants to try and take the fight, though. It's a beautiful charge in, but iG.Vitality, they're going to be lacking the follow-up. Han, he's not going to run into anyone, though. Upon your nice location out of his TP, they are all out. But
global being expanded, you're more than happy with that on Supernova. Now, there is absolutely no reason for them to be playing back on their own side of the map. We can see iG.Vitality, their warding game has basically been on the Supernova side of the map up until this point, so they don't have a ton of information to be able to play around with. They do have that glyph left remaining, and they might need to pop it just because you are going up against a siege creep right now, and you've got decent ways to be able to defend the high ground. So I don't think you necessarily need to wait for that, but they're going to hold on to it for now. Not going to be able to take away the Wisdom Rune at least, or the Tormentor, but again, they could just look to get really greedy in this next little bit of time. Maybe just the higher priority heroes like the Magnus is going to have the babysit coming through from Chola, making sure that that lasso plus the charge is never going to be able to pick him off.
Oh, almost got the use.
So, I mean... basically everyone, except for the Abaddon now, has a way to be able to get out of that global silence. You've got 2 Mantas, you've got Guardian Greaves, and you've got Yule's Scepter. So the effectiveness of this silencer really is diminished off the back of this. And, you know, that's not to discount, like, this sort of stuff is pretty good for dodging out things like the Nether Strike to be able to get rid of the Batrider sticky stuff that he's got going on. So, yeah, I feel like this draft hasn't been punished enough, and Supernova have just been able to get away with murder. It's still even net worth, but I'm supremely confident with their ability to go into the later stages of this game. I mean, Darkseid is just going to continue to scale. He's almost got a Blink Dagger picked up, so even more initiation coming for them shortly.
Yep. Our bottoms are ejected. T1 easily for them. Probably into the tier 2 and potentially Tormentor.
Do they not want to run away?
They did. Is the chain control going to be perfect to prevent the Sunder? It looks like it is. And now why not? Straight on top of the Tormentor they go. A lot of objectives going the way of the boys on Supernova. Sheep, who actually, no, it was the Abaddon that got the shot, sorry. I thought it was Sheep.
It's okay. I mean, base slow, if you're able to just get a right click off onto someone, a single right click, feels kind of nice. Additional 5%. He's going to be playing a lot more on the backlines, and yeah, even with the Batrider, you don't really have too much damage, my guys. Like, they're even going to use this offensive glyph, realizing that, I mean, TB probably doesn't want to buy back for this, but without that buyback, you are freely capable of just pushing this one in solo. And they find that quick pickoff.
It's going to be up to Marblu to start the fight, maybe Hara as well.
Still got the Aegis, though.
Target with the lasso has to be perfect, because Chola's always going to be ready. He tries to get the jump in, but it's not going to be on the mark. Easy breach hit, it looks like, for Nova.
They're really wanting to commit here. Quick pick off.
And they will. They'll get Chola.
They got to keep going.
Can they run into sheep in the trees? Nice location to keep. Oh, awkward. Ponyo smokes instantly broken. Won't catch up to anyone, so I mean, that's huge. Meta popped. No lasso nor global, but maybe you can get a T1 mid.
I mean, that's scraps, you know? It's like saying, you know, can we get a bottle of Coke and then you get some RC cola or something like that, you know? Not really something that you're wanting off the back of this. And I mean, again, they'll know that they have a lot of these tools back up again. I mean, RP, it's up in 15 seconds. He's almost got the Lincolns fully completed as well for the Magnus. And I really don't think you're going to care about that global silence and all that if there's not the meta damage to be able to follow it up. So to me, it's just about finishing up this next big item for yourself and then just go again. Just another ultimate orb picked up for Han as well, so not going to be able to finish his own Lincolns, but yep, they just go for the smoke after that free pickup. They've got the Blink Dagger as well on the Darkseer. Hasn't really started buying up any components of the Lotus, but I mean, they're just begging for someone to show in this lane. That's why Marblu is forced to stay inside of that Shadow Blade for as long as possible. They'll take any pick off that they can get. Actually,
come here.
There's only so much you can do, honestly. Like, he did that pretty perfectly to be able to get away, to use the Firefly for a little bit of that, like, running away in the trees, but you're up against a Magnus with just nerf the harpoon range. I think that's the biggest thing that needs to change to bring the Magnus back down to reasonable-ish rather than almost always a good first pick.
I do concur.
No glyph.
Quite.
No meta. No Batrider.
No tower.
Yeah. No base. No racks. Butterfly Effects at least got the Ags, but I don't think you're all that confident.
Oh, no Aegis. Winter's gonna have to play this one a little bit more defensively, back or not, but you're happy with the building. Rebecca's now caught outside the base. Is that going to jump? Meanwhile, look at the backline. Global Silence stops the FOB inside the wall, but how do you pierce on through now? It's in such a great location that iG.Vitality, they're forced to retreat, but the RP, it's going to keep him blocked inside. Skewer as well to get another illusion. Ukyo, he'll still be able to activate the Sunder, repairing all the damage dealt prior, but Supernova, they lost no one. No one died on the boys on Radiant. You get a buyback out of Ponyo. And in the end, I mean, that's BKB Sunday used as well. So Supernova, man, their team fight execution is looking very crisp.
Yeah, and that was with Sheep just diving in, balls deep. You know, he went in with a blast off, got away with about 20% HP, and yeah, he was just getting healed up a lot by this Abaddon. You know, they just haven't been able to combine everything together quite effectively enough on iG.Vitality, and well, they're going to start scaling into these other items as well. You can see Chola, if he wants to, he could start purchasing towards that Lotus. Might just go like a Perseverance, maybe the Plate Mail for himself, but I guess he wants to be a big surprise. Maybe he wants to buy the Aghanim Scepter all at once. I'm not so sure. Now they've even got the Blink Dagger as well to be able to play around with too on the mag. Just continuing to scale. It'll get even more difficult to play up into when he's got his level 20 for that increased skewer range. So, I mean, I'm just trying to think of a way for iG.Vitality to get back into this. I mean, again, silver linings, but Ukyo, he had his meta coming up towards like the mid to late stages of that fight, but he didn't pop it. If he did, I think this game would probably be over, just because they wouldn't have had any sort of responses to be able to fight into this. I wonder if it's even going to be like, maybe Abaddon just avoids, yeah, he's got the Aghanim Scepter kit up. Maybe he, what if he went Blink Dagger and then he just relied on Techies to Lotus him because Techies has the Yules for himself?
I
So global silence happens with the lasso. Say techies Lotus me, I'll blink in, I'll aphotic whoever gets lassoed, and we're all good.
I like that. I like that call. Come on, boys, let's see it. See.
I mean, they might just be waiting for ages up on this top side. If there's one thing that I wish Supernova would do, it's buy a gem. You know, they've already got such supreme control. They're actually standing underneath a ward, and, well, a lucky Sentry ward just clips it at the very tip of that range. They would love a quick pick-off on T'Challa, honestly. But again, techies, the big smoke indicator. Good placement coming through there by Sheep.
Alright, well, they're going to go again. Now coming on over. Only has half health, but I guess any HP regen. It's a call going to be from iG.Vitality, even Supernova smoke as well.
They don't have the same tools
on
iG.Vitality to be able to understand that there's smoke's going on. They're praying the Roche is up, but they're going to see with the Techie's mine detonating inside of the pit 10 seconds before it's set to spawn. It's just about now can they look to play around that high ground advantage on iG.Vitality. They should know that it's here.
To the right side, little bit split. Ward blade down, see butterfly effect. They get a glimpse of Marblu as well. Prime target, that's a lot of the control inside the fight, but the BKB is going to protect him. Able to disengage over to the northern side. Ukyo now wants to enter. Metamorphosis is committed. We're looking at Hara as well. They need the lasso with the Batrider to set up for Ukyo's damage. If they can retrieve from the wall, this is going to be okay for iG.Vitality, but I guess reading, they could just trade it for meta as well.
Yep. They can trade it for meta, they can get Roshan for themselves. There's no BKB on the Spirit Breaker. He's coming back out, but you know, that's one of those times where the meta wasn't really used in combination with the rest of the team. You can see they're trying to push the lane out as quickly as possible to still get value out of this meta, but it's got, what, a third duration left, and Roshan's nearly dead. And they're going to see, like, again, a great placement of the proximity mine forces this really big wraparound, but it's just too late.
Very, very close spot. Now what's the call? Global silence is there. Finds the last. It's going to be difficult for them to Ukyo. He'll try, but he'll lay it down, and he's already used the Sunder. There's no turnaround potential for iG.Vitality, as 0 heroes will die. Supernova are uncontested, and they call it iG.Vitality. Like you said, that is game, and they feel that to be the case as well.
Just pick universal heroes. You know, it's a very easy game to sometimes.